everyone, my name is Amber, this is Bucky, welcome back to my booktube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very quick video which is the autumn reading book tag. This tag was started years ago by Amy Jane Reeves. I don't think I've ever done it before, so it's not a tag that I'm redoing. I will leave the original down below, although I don't think the original creator is still on booktube anymore. There are 7 questions, let's get into them. The first question says, are there any books you plan on reading over the autumn season? Yes, I obviously do monthly TBRs, so there are lots of books that I'm planning on reading. I'm hoping to read quite a few spooky books and thriller books over autumn because I think it's the perfect season for it, but I'm also probably going to be reading some fantasy books as well. But some of the spooky books that I'm going to be reading, we have For Your Own Good, which is by Samantha Downing. This is her 3rd thriller and I love her books, so I'm convinced I'm going to love this one. We have Not Even Bones, which is a paranormal horror, I think, about monsters. And we have Pine, which just sounds weird. It's a gothic horror set in the Scottish Highlands, so this is perfect for autumn. Towards the end of autumn, we have my birthday and I've booked a whole week off of work, so I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done then, as well as live reading sprints and a bunch of videos as well. The second question is related to going back to school because autumn is the season for that, and the question is, what book did you most enjoy studying? Also, what were your favourite and least favourite school subjects? So the book I most enjoyed studying, I think, was Othello, which isn't technically a book, it's a play by Shakespeare. I found that one really interesting when I did that at A-level. I'm trying to remember which other books we actually studied in secondary school. I remember a lot from primary school, but not so much from secondary. So we did Pride and Prejudice at GCSE, which I didn't really enjoy. I will be rereading that though soon to see if I prefer it now that I'm older. The other class got to do Frankenstein, which I'm quite jealous of. And then we also did Handmaid's Tale, which I did enjoy, and we did Great Gatsby, which I didn't love, but it was all right. So yeah, Othello I think would be my favourite out of all of those. And then my favourite and least favourite school subjects. So I really liked the sciences. I loved biology. Chemistry was all right. Physics, not so much. Huge fan of biology. Really liked English Lit as well. And I also really enjoyed history and geography. I think my least favourite subject was probably religious studies or religious education. It wasn't very good. It was never taught very well. It wasn't something that I enjoyed learning about because I don't feel like we got the true kind of historical context, which is what I'm more interested in when it comes to religions. I also didn't like PE because I hated my PE teacher. PE is like gym physical education class. She was really awful, and I had a slip disc one year from carrying something heavy, and she still made me do rugby and someone tackled me and I was so unhappy with her. Anyway, moving on. Question number 3 is, do you enjoy scary books and films? If so, what are some of your favourites? I do. Not so much nowadays actually because I've gone off them, but when I was younger I was reading a lot of point horror books. I also really enjoyed the Goosebumps books when I was really young and the Goosebumps TV show. I also watched a lot of horror films growing up, but I don't really watch them now because again I don't really love them anymore. I think I might be getting a bit more of a scaredy cat in my old age, probably because I own a house now and I'm home alone sometimes and the thought of someone breaking in scares me. But growing up I loved Scream, the whole trilogy, or series I guess it is now, and I still do. I think they're fantastic. I watched Get Out last year for Halloween I think, and that was really good. I think my favourite current horror film franchise is A Quiet Place, the first and second one. I think they're both fantastic. I really liked the first 2 seasons of American Horror Story I think, but I didn't really go further with them. I watched Hotel and that was okay, but I didn't love it. And then in terms of scary books, I'm trying to think if I've read any actual scary ones. I read a lot of thriller books and not so much horror anymore. Perhaps I should do a video on that. Question number 4 is, what's the most exciting book you've read that kept you really gripped? So I mentioned Samantha Downing a second ago at the beginning of the video, and her thrillers are fantastic. So they're not necessarily my all-time favourite thrillers, but they are really, really good and they keep you hooked, they keep you really engaged, and they're very twisty, and the main characters are all very unlikable as well, which is unusual I think in books these days, at least the ones I read. I feel like authors try very hard to make their characters relatable and people that you are rooting for, but Samantha Downing does not do that. I also really love Ruth Ware's books. Her thriller books are fantastic. I've done a whole video on which one I think is best, which I'll link up above. I've also reviewed her most recent one, which is One by One. I'm hoping she comes out with a new book next year because she didn't release one this year and that makes me really sad. Same goes for Jane Harper. Actually, she's one of my all-time favourite thriller authors. I love The Dry and I love The Lost Man. All of her other books are fantastic as well, but those are my favourites from her, and she still hasn't released a book this year and I'm so sad about it. I really want a new one from her, but because The Dry was turned into a movie, I think she's had a lot going on. So I would recommend all of those for gripping thriller books because they're fantastic. Question number 5 is, what book is your favourite cozy comfort read? I don't know if I have one. I don't really go for cozy or comfort reads. I think at this point The City of Brass is a comfort read for me, but I wouldn't really describe it as cozy because there's a lot of like death in that trilogy, and it gets very dark. So I wouldn't say it's cozy, but it's a comfort read because I know what's going to happen, I know how it ends now, and I just love S.A. Chakraborty's writing, so probably that one. Question number 6 is, curled up with a good book, what is your hot drink of choice? To be honest, I don't really drink coffee nowadays. I don't like tea all that much unless I'm dipping biscuits into it, custard creams specifically, and I do drink hot chocolate sometimes, but it's not really my go-to, so I would probably have a coffee, to be honest, unless it's late at night, in which case it would be a hot chocolate. And I have recently been buying these fancy hot chocolates, I can't remember the name of them, but I'll put a clip in here. I think they're called Wittards or something, and they do all sorts of different flavours, and I've recently bought the salted caramel, the orange, and the cherry one. I think it's just cherry, and I love those. I also love combining them. I think they combine really well into a really good flavour. My favourite out of all of those, I think, is the salted caramel. Cherry one was interesting. It's a limited edition. Yeah, interesting is definitely the word I would use for that. Question number 7 is, any plans you're looking forward to over the next few months? Yes, so October, not so much, because we've decided to keep that completely free because we've had so much going on in the last few months with the lockdown in the UK ending, so we've had a lot of plans. But October we've decided to keep free. But in November, it's first of all both of our birthdays, mine and my partner's, and it's also our anniversary on a different day, so we have a lot of plans. For one thing, we're going to see Six, the musical. Finally, we were meant to go and see it in 2020. Obviously it got rescheduled, and then it was rescheduled a second time, and then I just cancelled the tickets and rebooked for November. I really hope that we can go this time because I'm really looking forward to it, and we'll probably go out for dinner in London or something. And then for our birthdays, I don't really know what we're doing yet. I imagine we'll go out to eat a couple of times. I also really want to go for a couple of walks around the area as well, because we recently went walking in the Lake District and I loved it, and I want to keep that up even in the winter here. Even though obviously Buckinghamshire isn't as gorgeous as the Lake District, it's still got some really nice walking areas in the countryside along the hills and valleys and stuff, so that's something that I really want to do. And there are also quite a few films and stuff that I want to go and see. I can't think of many off the top of my head apart from Spider-Man because that's kind of taking over my brain right now, but I think there are some good films coming out towards the end of the year, and we've got a cinema near us that has these really fancy reclining seats now, and I love it. It's so comfortable and so spacious, and I feel like it's also COVID safe, which is nice because you're so distanced from people if you don't go at peak times. So yeah, October is going to be a reading, relaxing month where I just try to chill, and then November is going to be the really busy one where everything is going on. So those are my answers to all 7 questions. Let me know if you've done this tag. I'd love to come and check it out. Let me know if you've got any autumn reading plans coming up as well. I would honestly love to know what you've got going on. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye!